Hi guys. I just wanted to say, holy crap, the weather. So bad. So bad. Um, so I didn't want us to fall too far behind, and I thought it would be best to kind of do as close to a class as possible via the interwebs today, and then we will meet and talk in person on Friday. And you've already received a 2-day extension on your brief, so it's now going to be due on Wednesday the 13th instead of Monday the 11th. And hopefully that will allow you more research time and won't really change the amount of writing time that you have. So let's get started. Today we are going to talk about drafting your argument, and we're going to do some practice with the Arrington case and some other things. So along with this video, I also emailed you a worksheet, and so you'll want to have that worksheet handy as you go through this video, because we'll stop from time to time so you can do some work on your own. All right, I'm now going to delete my face from this situation. I just wanted to say hi. And now we'll get started. Oh, one other thing. To the extent you are behind on your reading and very confused about what's happening, I encourage you to read the book. Specifically, you want to have read chapter 7, which is all about persuasive arguments, as that's kind of really critical for this whole situation. Chapter 8 is also helpful because they talk about case illustrations and how to do those persuasively. And then chapter 9 is something you guys will be reading for Friday. But if you haven't been reading, you really need to, because the book is enormously helpful, and I think it will answer a lot of the questions that you guys have. So read the book. Okay, now I'm making myself go away, I think. Okay, I don't think you can see me anymore. All right, so let us get started. We're going to start by talking about how to develop your argument. And the first thing that you should be doing before you even start drafting or thinking about drafting is you should be done with your research, and you should understand the law. I'm going to guess most of you are not at this point yet, and that's fine. Your drafting will be a lot easier and less painful if you spend more time kind of thinking about the law and learning about the law. So do that. Don't just think you have to be drafting right now, because you don't. Okay, so organizing the argument will look, I'm trying to fix my screen, that should be better now, will look a lot like what we did last semester. So you are either going to use IRAC, CREAC, or CRAC. I recommend either CREAC or CRAC for a persuasive piece, because it forces you to start with a conclusion and then argue as to why that conclusion is right. So do that. And your argument, just like last semester, will start with a roadmap or an overview. So before you get into the meat of the argument, you're going to introduce kind of the general rule and narrow the reader's focus to the specific issue in your case. In your current case, there's really one main issue, so you'll use the roadmap to narrow to that issue. And then as you organize the rest of your argument, you will relate that to whatever rule structure you're going to be using. So if you have a factors test, you'd organize, or you'd structure your argument by factor. If you have an elements test, you'd do it by elements. Balancing test, you'd do it by introducing each side of the argument. You also might have what we call alternative arguments. Let me adjust my screen again. The alternative arguments would be like, well, if that doesn't work, then we'll try this one. So it may be that your argument is structured that way, where you introduce kind of your strongest element or your strongest argument, and then you introduce an alternative in case that argument doesn't work. So Now, I want you to do a little bit of practice. So get your worksheet handy and go to the worksheet and complete questions 1 and 2. Those both have to do with the Max Arrington case. Question 1, deceivingly, it looks like it's not much, but on this slide it looks like it's not much, but really there's a bunch of subparts. So complete questions 1 and 2, and then come back to my presentation, which is going to be a second video. This is the end of video 1. And just a note about the worksheet. I'm going to expect you to have the worksheet in hand on Friday. It can either be on your computer, you can do it electronically, I sent it in Word, or you can print it out and handwrite it. Totally up to you. But have it with you on Friday. You'll be turning it in at the end of class on Friday. All right, so go forth and do questions 1 and 2, and I'll see you on the next video.